We should watch this thing now before it's too late. Oh, Hamid Fixer 23 Prime, 23 months Prime says 23 aware, and also is that NymN? Oh, nice. Disaster 90. Thanks for the 42 months, bruh. Welcome back. All right, chat. Too fancy, too furious wine. Listen up, people. Let me leave. You can't leave, Doc. You can't leave. Doc, stay.
Come here, little fella. I want to tell you a secret.
Level during it?
I'm just like you. We're both down here in the dirt.
Yes, I do mind.
Mine just happens to be imported. You are fighting in traffic, and I am fighting charges of trafficking. We're so similar. You're working a 9-to-5 job, and I am having to look at that. We're both going through it. So don't hate me. I'm not the problem. It's the wine snobs. They're the ones that look down on you. And frankly,
the intro text said something about reacting.
Did someone say, try hard?
Oh, wait. He has like a... Isn't there like a... Do you have to wait a certain time before you can watch this or something? Oh, that's for re-uploading. Feel free to react to these videos, but please wait 48 hours from initial upload date before re-uploading to YouTube. Okay. Oh, that's fine. I'm not gonna do that. Okay, great.
I'm fighting charges of traffic.
Sabby, welcome back.
So
Disaster 90, welcome back. Thank you guys.
You're working a 9-to-5. It's the wine snobs. They're the ones.
Someone in
that
chat
look
might
down
know? Well,
on
that's on them then. What am I supposed to do about it?
And frankly, I don't blame him. No, he's learning. Listen, let me pull you up by your bootstraps. What if I made you my little Pygmalion? That's a reference that you wouldn't get. You know what? Perhaps I shall make a series of videos
This is a special
that will give
shout
you
out to
some
Jerry
sort
the
of
Doctor.
clue
Rhyme.
about fancy things. Yes, that's what I'll do. Something to give you just enough information to bluff your way through a fancy dinner.
Did you know that Da Vinci painted the Mona Lisa?
Dan?
Somebody had to hold open the gates for the barbarians. Why not me? So let's do it. Let's look at wine.
Ah,
The
yes.
Mountain Dew of upper society. With wine, there is only one rule. Kill or be killed. And if you want to survive the night, here are 6 things you should know about wine.
Take notes, chat.
To you muggles, the words on these bottles must
Pinot
seem
Noir.
like a mystery.
Pie not no ire?
But us landlords, we, the pink Himalayan salt of
Or
the earth,
delicious.
we know what they mean. They are grape names. Look upon this grapevine. It makes grape berries.
That's great.
Now, there are many different species of grape berry. And whatever the berry species is will determine the type of wine. This is Chardonnay, so it will make Chardonnay. Merlot grapes, they make Merlot wine. Grape names are mostly French. Gross. But for example, in English, Pinot Noir means black pine, because it kinda looks like a black pine cone, if you squint. Here's some of the other names. You could pause it. I'm busy. Wine grapes are not like the kind you get at the supermarket. Those
I've
are
heard this as well. They taste kind of bad if you try to eat these.
table grapes. You can think of it kind of like the difference between cooking chocolate and regular chocolate. You can eat them, but they're overly sugary and kind of full of seeds and just not as nice to snack on. So the grape type is the main word on the bottle, but sometimes there are other words as well. For example, this Bourgogne. What the hell is a Chablis? It's all regions. Allow me to explain through the medium of song.
Here we go.
There's Chianti and Piedmont, also there's Burgundy. Don't forget Chablis Bordeaux. This one's from Italy, this one's from Italy, this one's from France, this one's from France, this one's from France, this one's from France. They're all from France. We're Italy. Look, the general rule is, if you see a term you don't understand, it's probably just the French or the Italians being all la-dee-da about their particular region. All right, let's move on to price. Come on, I know a place. We're here. I can tell by the name on the sign. Now, don't embarrass me, I didn't bring my ID. Fiddle-TD, look at all these bottles. So many options. Ooh, a cheeky $200 bottle. And here, a $20 bottle. Now, I bet this $200
It'd be fun. I'd like to do like a blind taste test on something like this one time.
bottle tastes way better, right?
I don't think I could tell the fucking difference.
Like, it's got to be 10 times better than this one. That's just basic math. Go on, though. You choose one. Oh, no. Well, it was supposed to be a trick question, but they both taste pretty similar, right? There's not some threshold that you get to where it gets more expensive, and then it tastes better, and then more expensive again, and it tastes even better, until it gets so expensive and so incredible that it's like nothing you've ever had before. Break through the
there's
condition.
definitely a bottom floor. I know I tried like a $5 wine or some shit one time, and it actually had like an aftertaste of gasoline. It was insane. It was the worst wine I've ever had.
This is just old grape
And it was
juice.
even cheaper than $5. It was $2 or
Now,
something.
if you're a little bi-curious about a more expensive bottle, sure, why not?
Gold letters grace the label, hand engraved by goldsmiths. Famed wine critics described the taste as mind-boggling.
But realistically, after about $60, the flavor doesn't get much better. In fact, it plateaus out and it can even go down. The best quality to price
I made it
ratio
up.
is all the way over here, much lower, about $20. That's how much you should spend on a bottle of wine. Now, some people will say
that I'm putting my heart and soul into this thing. I'm making a form of art. How much is that worth? How much is art worth?
about $20. But what about the Vintage? Well, look at this. A couple of cromulent slender necks. And they're the same price as well. But this one is from 2019, and this one is from 2022. Well, surely the older one is the better one, right? No. Many people think that the wine aging goes like this.
Nah.
And the flavor just keeps getting
Nah,
better
it can
over
fall
time.
off eventually.
Wrong. The wine at the store has already been aged at the winery. I don't need to be more aged by sitting on this shelf and just collecting dust, or spending years at the back of your pantry at home. If I'm for sale, I'm ready to be consumed. I'm ready to have your hot lips wrapped around me.
Oh.
In fact, the general rule goes a corked bottle should be drunk within 5 years, and a capped bottle within 1 year. Come, there's more.
What about a box? Box probably within a couple of weeks, right? Anatra, 58 months prime. Welcome back.
Pretend I am a waiter at a restaurant. You happen to be wearing a shirt, and so I have mistaken you as a paying customer. As a waiter, the first thing I will press you about will be food pairings. White wine with fish? A Merlot with pork? Well, kid, I'm gonna have to pair this truth nugget with something you don't wanna hear.
Oh.
The food pairing doesn't really matter. It's all completely subjective. It's cuisine by horoscope. It's food astrology. Pay no attention to the sommeliers in the comment section. They are bullshitting to upsell.
Get the more expensive one. It goes better with the spaghetti.
Or they are a Pisces and you shouldn't trust their opinion anyway. Something else to expect at a restaurant? Expect to get ripped off by the markup. Most restaurants add a 250 to 300% markup on their wine. And the cheaper the bottle, the higher the proportional markup tends to be. So a $20 bottle will turn into an $80 bottle, but a $100 bottle may only rise to $150.
Of course. Just like I can go to the liquor store and buy a bunch of beer way cheaper than if I go out to the pub and order a glass of beer, right? I guess some of these markups are way, but I mean, marking up from 100 to 150 doesn't even seem that crazy.
Most people get the second cheapest bottle on the menu, regardless
Four
of the
times
pairing,
seems extreme,
and
though.
that'll do just fine. And that's it. No more tips.
Buy and
Unless
bring
you want
it.
to leave me one. Oh? Actually, you know what? I got a fucking tip for you, mate. Ad time. I bet you're wondering how I got this cog in my knee. That's because I became the face of Incogni. The
Hey,
servant.
chat, I'll save us some time here. But Incogni, guys, they are amazing. You can get 60% off an annual plan. Incogni.com/internet historian. There. What? Okay, you guys want to watch this? Okay.
That helps you be forgotten on the internet. I used to be a humble florist. One day we received a shipment of forget-me-nots. But inexplicably I fell in and ate a bunch of them. I forgot everything that day. My address, my web browsing habits, where I worked, what my child's face looked like. I was supposed to pick him up from daycare, so that was kind of embarrassing. I just picked one of the kids that kind of looks like me.
Oui, monsieur.
Close enough. Have you ever signed up for some dodgy website? Have you ever dodged up for a legitimate website and they sell all your details onto a dodgy website? That's where I come in. Incogni man. And
They
another
perch
boy.
you?
Je ne parle anglais pas.
There are data miners out there, data collectors, creating big
Data.
servers all around the world. They take your name, your address, and your IP, and together they make a big profile, and that lives forever. I am here to send them annoying legal notices to tell them to fuck off. Take Steve off your database. European law this, American law that. Go to incogni.com/internet historian to get 60% off an annual plan.
Meow.
The cog signal. I swoop into the data centers.
This actually
Legal
sounds
notes.
so interesting.
Tangle up their processes with admin.
Maybe I will.
you? I don't know.
Get myself
wait a
off
minute.
those paste bins.
Inganokni Nam. Go to incogni.com/internet historian.
Sounds like a scam. Nah, it sounds like they just do a bunch of stuff that you could probably do by yourself if you wanted to. They just save you the time.
Incogni man. Remember me? Yes.
Da-da-da-da-da-da.
No.
Let me leave. No, docs.
Who's the
You're stuck
kid?
here.
Je suis très affamé, monsieur. S'il vous
Cyberpunk.
plaît.
Whoa, that's a good deal. Ad over. Welcome to the Wine Underground. We have our meetings here because it stays at a very pleasant temperature. You know, us wine masons, we control everything. We are few, but many. That doesn't make sense. Look at the back of this bottle. See the No Fat Chicks logo? We put that there.
Vegan.
It is the symbol of our organization. We have a dirty finger in every glass of government and corporation stuff. If you cross us, oops, perhaps you'll have a little accident. Last year, little upstart tried to make wine actually taste good. You know, like how grape soda does. Cut him up so good he had to get stitches. We caught one reporter trying to dig around into our operations. We all know how that one ended. With an airstrike. All right, my little juice box. I'm going to let you in on a secret. Why is champagne called champagne?
Because it's for champagne.
Well, I'll tell you. It all began in 1668. In the Abbey of St. Peter in northeast France, there's something spooky going on. It's springtime, and in the cellar where they keep all the wine, bottles would suddenly, unexpectedly, explode.
Ghosts.
Now, this was especially common during morning mass. Ho ho, that's a bad omen. Sometimes the explosions would cause little chain reactions, and bottle after bottle would break down the line, ruining the majority of the crop. The peasants were frightened and also parched.
Sacre Bleu, les wine. What is happening?
The monks would refer to this as the devil's wine.
Les wine is cursed.
Le God, he must be anger at us. We need a hero.
In walks Dom Perignon. He is just the man for the job. A Benedictine monk at the abbey, he's got a new role, the cellar master. And it's his mission to find out what the hell is going on here. So Dom starts looking at all the bottles. And what he figures out pretty quickly is that the wine itself is releasing gas. The gas builds up pressure and... boom. Why that is happening, he doesn't know. But it's his job to stop it. So he gets to work, trying all sorts of things to stop his mortal enemy. The bubbles. In the first year, he tried insisting that only the youngest grapes be picked.
Perhaps this will stop your bubbles.
And it didn't.
Nope.
The next year, he changed up how the grapes were pressed.
Push harder, we'll squeeze out the bubbles.
Son of a bitch. He tried picking the grapes very early in the morning and no other time. Nope.
Oh, this guy has no idea what he's doing.
And on. The bubbles would win the battle every year. For 8 long years, he tried all sorts of different things. And
that
no
fucking video
strategy worked. No, the bubbles. Eventually, he was at the point of almost giving up. Until one day, hey, what if the wine is still fermenting? So he takes a couple of the bottles and he opens them and, it is. We ferment the wine. Once it's done, it goes into the bottle. How does it then start fermenting again? How is that possible? And here the mystery was solved. So it turns out in North France they have very fast changing seasons. And owing to that, the yeast doesn't actually get time to do its job. Instead, it would get cold very quickly in the winter and all the yeast would go dormant. Then the winemakers would go, brilliant, fermentation slowed down, it must be done. They would then bottle it and they would store it. But once summer came back around, the process would spring back to life and carbon dioxide would build up and... boom. Okay, he thinks, I cannot change the climate. Perhaps I shall not win the war against the bubbles. Now, the bubbles are his enemy and he has another enemy. The English.
Damn it.
Therefore, the enemy of his enemy or something. Anyway, he starts talking to the English and he goes, hey, how do you guys stop your bottles from exploding? And the British go,
you what, mate? Cool. Well, peep at how thin the bloody glass be in it. Thin glass is the problem. Thank you for using this text-to-speech preview. For a paid version, please go to...
See, the English have created new coal-fired bottles with much thicker glass. Then they put a cork in the top and it allows them to make very foamy beer. That's right, he could just use thicker bottles and he won't have to worry about stopping the bubbles at all. So Dom goes running back to France. He's panting, he's sweating, and there's bits of brie on his shirt. He's going, better bottles, better bottles.
So the bottles were exploding, and 8 years later, he comes to the conclusion that they should just get better bottles. Gelaximus and Anatris, thank you guys for your resubs. Welcome back.
Confused and terrified, but they give it a shot. And?
-8 years.
There it was. The people of France loved it.
Well, I love this new style.
Even the French royals were enjoying new wine, TM. He even started adding extra yeast and sugar to really get the bubbles going. And so Dom Perignon had created what we call today champagne. Now, there's a 19th century marketing campaign that says the moment he uncorked his champagne for the first time, he tried it and said, come quickly, I am tasting the stars. But that's actually a myth. He never really said that. But there's still a problem. And this one, Dom cannot fix. The pulp. If you bottle wine while it's still fermenting, so that you can keep the bubbles in, you're also trapping in a bunch of dead yeast and debris and gross particles too. Also, it's all cloudy. No, we want it clear. We want it crystal looking. How will we ever solve this problem? Dom dies.
No!
1805, in walks Madame Clicquot. She's just the man for the job.
I'm also French. I have come to remove all the little beats. I will clench my teeth together and go pitu back into the bottle.
Now, Madame Clicquot was a very shrewd lady. Her husband died when she was in her early 20s.
My husband is dead. Lol.
And part of the estate she was bequeathed included a winery. She immediately got to work, making it into a successful business.
I shall invent a process called lay riddling.
Here's what you do, right? You put these bottles on a rack at a 35-degree angle with the top facing down. Every 2 days, she would give the bottle a little shake and slightly increase the ankle. After 8 to 10 weeks, all of the sediment would come to rest in the neck of the bottle. All right, quick tangent. Did you know that when you increase the salt concentration in water, you can drop its temperature down much lower without it freezing?
Yes.
Tangent over. So she takes this sub-zero salt water and dips the neck of the bottle in there. Then lets it sit until the neck freezes. Now you have a sort of frozen cork filled with all of the gross pulp, and then you simply pop off the top. And the whole thing goes shooting out as a fun prank for your friends and family. Then they add in a little more extra base wine and sugar and leave it to age. And with that, Clicquot has just created a clear, sparkling wine. And that is Ridley.
What?
And Madame
Why? I don't
Clicquot,
get it. I don't think I get it. They served them frozen? What does he mean? Am I dumb? Okay, so they trap the bad stuff in the top and it's frozen here, right? So now you need to keep it frozen until serving? That doesn't seem very convenient. No. They open it again? They freeze it, open it, empty the shit, and then put a new cap on? And recork. Okay. Why not just... Why even put it in the bottle in the first place? Why not like age it and all this stuff and then do the whatever? I don't get it.
Then you simply pop off the top. And the whole thing goes shooting out as a fun prank for your friends and family.
Is there
then
no
they
bubbles?
add in a little more extra base wine and sugar and leave it to age. And with that, Clicquot has just created a clear, sparkling wine. And that is Ridley. And Madame Clicquot is...
The Riddler.
So Dom Perignon and Madame Clicquot are both credited as the godfather and godmother of champagne. Today, the Dom and Clique brands are owned by LVMH, the same parent company that owns Louis Vuitton, Tag Heuer, Tiffany & Co., Hennessy. Actually, pretty much every luxury brand.
Meow.
But
Yippee.
why is it called champagne?
Because it's from Champagne.
Well, that's because it comes from the Champagne region, you dummy. And anything else with bubbles is just sparkling wine.
Yeah, you get like sued otherwise if you call it champagne.
Oh, it's you. I was just looking out over the sunset. You know how it is. Thinking about stuff that happened in the past. I remember it all too well. It was literally 1984. I was walking home with my parents from the opera.
Come on, keep up. We're nearly there.
Hey, let's take a little shortcut, they said.
We can cut through here.
We were walking down a well-lit alleyway. It was nothing but quaint restaurants and bistros. Then suddenly, a man holding a bottle of Shiraz came out of nowhere.
Shout out to NymN if that's who it is.
Just
I have no
a
idea who
tipple,
that is or what
he
kind
said.
of content they put out, but that was
I
nice.
was terrified. I knew nothing about wine. Go on, he said. My hands were shaking, knees weak, arms heavy. Complex aroma, wouldn't you say? Ooh, very good tannins. Oh, really? Yep. What's a tannin? I don't know. My parents died from embarrassment right there on the spot.
Mommy! I'm sorry, Daddy.
Oh, I'll wait for the ad to end. Sorry, we got an auto ad in the middle of the video. Aha! I run an ad while watching someone else's content. It's genius. 30 months from someone with a name I can't pronounce, but 1992 in there.
Not sad.
Thank you for that and welcome back. Ed Ricks has resubscribed for 3 months Prime. Says Force in his Literary Batman. True. And Kiok, 10 months Prime. Welcome back as well. Appreciate it, guys. Appreciate it very much. Chill Dude 105 is apparently exploding in chat. That's unfortunate. We got 30 seconds. Oh, that's Raffle Mao. Boops, boops. See, I see your names in chat, but when I see you in the, like the alert, look at that. That's what it looks like to me. I don't know how to read that, you know? Yeah. There's not 10 minutes left. 17 seconds. Yo, I'm JuQ, also 63 months. What's good? What's good? What's good? Thank you. Welcome back. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Let's go.
Just a tipple. It's too late for me, but I don't want the same thing to happen to you. That's why we have to learn about how to serve wine. So you've bought a bottle of wine to show your friends and family how successful and sophisticated you are. Did you know that Da Vinci painted the Mona Lisa? So let's go through how to serve the big three. White, red, and champagne. Let's say you've bought champagne. That bottle goes in the fridge. Champagne is served cold always. To open, peel off the foil and do not aim it at your face. Then twist off the metal thing. If you want people to think you're fancy, use the proper word, muselet.
Muselet.
It helps to contain the pressure. Again, don't aim this thing at your face. It's really worth repeating. The PSI inside a champagne bottle is 70 to 90. That puts it in the same league as a nail gun.
Damn.
So the cork comes out at about 50 miles an hour. And if you're in a house, you want to hold onto it very firmly with your hand. If you're Bezos, or you just won the Grand Prix, fling it over some ladies.
I've learned that the best strat is hold the cork and then twist the bottle. A lot of people twist the cork.
But if you want to be really fancy, you can use a sword.
I've never done this.
This has been a tradition for a couple hundred years, popularized by Napoleon. After each victory, the army...
This better be the best stream of my life or I'm permabanning you. Yeah, that's a ban. Hey, mods! That was supposed to be my...
would use their sabers to crack one open for the boys. But the sword's just ceremonial. You can use pretty much any blunt object to knock off the top. A phone.
What?
This fish head. If it's cold, it shouldn't fizz over too much, but you might want to have someone on the side with a ready glass. The glass type should either be a tulip
Fortnite
or
servers
a
are
flute.
down?
Although, if you've seen The Great Gatsby, you may notice that they use these. Up until the mid-1900s, people used coupes. That's because, back in the day, excessive effervescence wasn't very cool. So these cups helped actually dispel the bubbles faster. In fact, sometimes they'd even use a small whisk or a fork to dissipate all the bubbles. Now, there's actually an old myth that the shape and size of the coupe was molded from one of Marie Antoinette's boobos. But it's probably not true. Eventually, bubbles became a fancy feature, so the flute was adopted. They can be made from glass, but preferably they're made from crystal, so that they shimmer as much as possible. And the best flutes would also feature a small rough spot right there at the center of the glass at the bottom to create a sort of tornado of bubbles. Anyway, as you pour, tilt sideways so
it's weird how always like it looks like all the bubbles are coming from the bottom somehow. You guys ever think about this? I mean, I guess they are, but somehow, even though it's all the bubbles from all the liquid, but it only comes from the bottom. That's the nucleation point. Ah, yes. How can you say that this chat is dumb? How can you stand this? You wrote, "Hello, you sexy fuck. Lucky you live in Malmö or I would have robbed you. I would have robbed you if you lived close by. Millionaire robbing. I'm not kidding." Alright.
Of bubbles. Anyway, as you pour, tilt sideways so it isn't all head, and don't pour more than 2/3 full. Done. White wine. White wine is best served chilled too. 10 to 15 degrees though, not fridge cold. Use a small glass bowl and pour to about half full. And when you drink, do a little sniff test and, aerate it a bit. Then hold it down low on the stem so your hands don't heat up the liquid. If it's not to your taste, cut it with 50% Sprite and add a few ice cubes.
Lame.
Done. Reds.
Don't do that to your champagne.
Red wine is not chilled. It is served at room temperature. When you first open it, you're supposed to let it sit for a while to oxidize. That gives it more flavor. Although if you don't want to wait, you can just pour it into a decanter. That does the same thing. To drink from, we want a big bowl on a stick, so you get a full face of the aromas of the grape blood. When you pour the thing, fill it about 1/3 full. That's pretty much it. However, when it comes to wine snobbery, red wine snobbery is at the top of the Maslow hierarchy.
Crushed white rock. It's like almost like a rock quarry.
Oh my god, shut up. And there's a taste testing thing that people do, and they all go a bit mental, and it's kind of gross, and it looks dumb. But
chat, just a quickie as we're watching. Red, white, or sparkling wine? If any.
If you think you're ready,
what do you prefer?
Ready for the ultimate test? Ready to take the one-chip
I wrote
challenge
sparking.
of enology? Then here's how you do it. When the waiter comes over, insist on taking a teensy sample. Inspect for color, clarity, and legs. Legs refers to how viscous the wine is. Smell it. Smells like a red wine. Swirl it around on the table, making a loud scratching noise, so that everyone knows you're a connoisseur.
Here's a funny question. I'm sure some of you guys have done this, right? Where you actually order wine, you have to test it first before you get it. Has anyone ever done this and then said, you know what? No, I don't like this. I don't want it. I would have never. I don't know what the fuck the taste. That thing would have to taste like poison for me to go like, this was so bad, just send it back. Unless it was really expensive maybe or some shit. I'd be like, this does not taste. It's not worth the price maybe. If you can taste cork. I do that every time. Free glass of wine.
Swirling the wine glass is almost like turning up the volume on the stereo.
When you taste it, you're supposed to get it over every part of your mouth, so that when you brush your teeth
That's a 10.
later, it's awful. Then take in big sips of air. This is where you comment on the texture and taste. Complex notes! You yell across the room. Now this is the best part. You can just make shit up about vanilla smatterings or citrusy undercurrents. I swear, there's a hint of blueberry. It's one of those things that's kinda true, but subjective enough that no one can really refute you. So make a big show of it.
There is a little bit of an earthiness, almost a graphite clay note to this.
It's a little bit meaty. It's a little bit sort of rustic.
There are definitely hints here of Monster Ultra sugar-free. If this is a taste test and you're sampling dozens of wines, you want to spit out the sample into this gross bucket so you don't get too drunk. Do not ask the waiter if you can drink from the bucket. It's the waiter's privilege, and he's very protective of it. And that is how to serve wine. Okay, that's a lot of shitting on wine people.
And we shouldn't get bullied.
But let me do a quick 180. Because overall, wine is good. And a little wine snobbery can be good also. Being into wine is one of the great dad hobbies. One day you will have a model train set in your basement, complete with a little walking path and the grass just right. The best part about this hobby is building the thing, getting it just perfect, and then making people sit there while you explain the little trains in excruciating detail of how they work. Now the fun of Warhammer, that's when you save up for the little Space Marine man, you take him out of the packet, you put on a podcast with some Warhammer in the background.
Of all the Primarchs, Horus is the best kisser.
And you slowly paint it yourself. And then you argue with your mates later about why the Necrophiles are the best race. There are people that spend like tens of thousands of dollars on coffee machines and equipment. And then it takes like an hour to make a coffee, and it's like only 5% better maybe than the ones you get at the cafe. Now I could be Mr. Killjoy and come in and go, what's the point of that? Why not just buy it from the cafe? Why not just get a pre-painted Space Marine? Why not have someone else just install the train set? But then there's no ceremony, there's no fun, there's no hobby. Wine is very similar. They're getting a little bit too obsessive about the thing. And being like...
Some lemon zest as well, lemon pith. Super tangy.
Is the purpose of wine. It's the fun of wine. which is why wine is better than just some old grape juice. And you fucking wine loser snobs, you know what? You're all right.
How about that?
And that's about it. There's just one last thing left. The practical. Come on, my little nouveau biche. I booked out a whole restaurant. They serve some of the best blue whale caviar here. All right, you did it. You sat through the whole video without crying. I think this calls for a toast.
Good job, Chad.
Now. Whoop. Uh-oh. I can't believe you killed again. But it's okay. I feel like we're becoming close friends who can keep secrets and stuff. And because we're such close friends, I'm going to keep teaching you things. That's right. You're going to be just like me.
Great.
I just cannot tell which of this is blood and which wine. By the way, this is the second video. If you haven't seen the first one, which is on Fancy at the Theatre, go look at it over here.
Look at
There's
it!
also Fancy, the Arts, on Incognito. That's already live, and there's the next Incognito on its way. Do not forget Story Mode. Do not forget Incogni. And do not forget to dream.
Oh, beautiful. Wow, that was one of those outros that never ended. It was an outro into an outro into an outro. Great, though. That was good shit. Guys, go like and comment on this video, all right? Shout out to Internet Historian. He makes great stuff. That's an update from me.